Well, it's a Venezuelan crisis. Yeah. Vice President Mike Pence said to the UN Council to revoke Venezuela from the United Nations and see Juan Guaido to be recognised as the president, the free Venezuela from Socialist Justice Party leader, and got Trump helping him out. He's all for it, and but Putin, though, he's not too happy about it because he's taking Venezuelan assets from Maduro, who's paying to keep himself a dictator. Yeah, and Mike Pence, the Vice President, also went on to say to the Vice President of Venezuela that he should not be at the United Nations Council, and he should go back to Nicolas Maduro and tell him his time is up and it's time for him to go. And so this has happened a few days ago. There's the return of Venezuelans' response, but they haven't said out. He also said, Mike Pence, in an interview, that people have been so much suffering for 6 years from starvation from Nicolas Maduro's regime, and America recognised Juan Guaido as president and his party as the official government to Venezuela, and 54 nations have agreed with Trump and his stance on Venezuela. Yeah, and so America, they're going to introduce a resolution to the United Nations to make him recognise Juan Guaido as Venezuelan president and to denounce Nicolas Maduro's dictatorship, and that should be probably getting done round about now, so I'll have to keep you updated on that. Oh yeah, then I had a look on the Russia's reply, and so Russia sent out a deputy rep for the United Nations, Michelin Palansky, and he came out and felt a bit sorry for him because he was in a situation where he couldn't really say what he felt 100%, but he had to stay with the communist sort of dictator line on keeping his mouth shut enough to not give any such views on it that it could get him into trouble. But he came out and he said they're worried about the Venezuelan and the international law regulations and that the legality on the issue, so it was important that they have their views and Russia knows it's not many countries support them, but it's not going to make any difference to Russia. They're sort of like, well, we know it's a dictatorship, we know what's going on, but we don't care. We're gonna do it our way, and we're not really too bothered, apart from when they get sanctioned and start crying. But I'll get on to that. But anyway, some questions started getting fired out to him, like, what is Maduro's right to the presidency? And he answered back, there's been alleged of vote rigging, but Russia doesn't think there is any vote rigging going on in Venezuela, because that's not important to Russia, vote rigging. So then another question got asked about the ration aid relief to Venezuela, and Venezuelans going to Russia as part of a military swap. Well, he answered, we sent technical specialists to Venezuela, there was no military. Didn't answer much about the aid relief to Venezuela much, because there ain't none. The aid relief, the one it to come from the UN. But another question, can America send support aid relief to Venezuela? Which he answered, it's up to Maduro to say whether if the aid support can be allowed in. Which you'd think he'd want American or any aid support, because the people are starving in Venezuela. But the Russians are like, well, it's up to Maduro if he wants to accept it or not. Yeah, then a question about the Sudanese president to be delivered to the ISCC Central Court thing for probably crimes against humanity, and he answered, to be fair to him, it's not about Venezuela, which he did say at the start of the interview. He was only answering questions on Venezuela, but yeah, he didn't want to answer that. And yeah, but yeah, then he went on to say that Venezuela is ready to cooperate with the UN, but does not want America to give support aid, as it's a plot to show Maduro would just keep it for himself and not give it to the people, which would cause public outrage to see Maduro as a dictator. But Russia and China are helping. Yeah, he's saying that America, if they give him support and that, it would make Maduro keep it. It's like a temptation plot. And America sanctions on third parties in cooperating with Venezuela. Yeah, and Michelin Polanski, he went on to say that it's not helping. Yeah, well, that's what happens. But yeah, he's having himself a bit of trouble, and then dictatorships start complaining that the sanctions on them, they don't help. Well, stop being a dictator. But anyway, question it got asked again, sort of thing, can USA get rid of Maduro? And he answered, the UN can't resolve it as it's an outrageous, and most UN officials don't care. So Russia's still thinking that that the UN aren't going to do anything about Maduro. Nicolas Maduro's, he's going to be in the thinking for probably as long as they want him to be in, and they're not really bothered about UN sanctions, but they are complaining about it a bit. But anyway, yeah, he got asked a question about Julian Assange, which he said he sympathised with the whistleblower, which I thought, whoa, was a bit funny, because I know whistleblowers are seen with too much of a favouritism in Russia. But anyway, he did go on to say that it was in his own opinion, and he can't speak for Putin. He's got himself a bit of a sort of freedom of speech there, where he had his own point of view. But he did claim though that, yeah, he knew himself, like, yeah, if Julian Assange was in Russia and was doing some whistleblowing and that, which he did do a bit, but he knows, like, he won't be getting too much of a warm welcome. But yeah, and another question was, like, is Venezuela doomed? And he answered, well, they're gonna send some specialists and that to hopefully help them out. Yeah, another question got asked, what research has been done for Venezuela? And he answered, Russia has no documents on Venezuela, but in the interview you clearly see he has a pink folder with documents in it, and he does say at the end of the interview that he's got a folder with documents in it. But he says that Russia don't have any documents on Venezuela, they just talk to the Venezuelan government. Then the UN should respect Venezuela and the people and help them by ignoring the USA's call for Juan Guaido to be president. And then the question about Brexit came up. I know that this interview went on for like 45 minutes, and so I think they got a bit tired of asking questions about Venezuela and the suffering of the Venezuelan people, and started asking about Brexit extensions. And he answered that the Russian, and he didn't have any position on Brexit. He didn't care whether it happened or it didn't. He respects Britain and wants a good relationship with the UK, with or without the EU superstate. And it's up to the British people to decide, which I wished it was, which I'm hoping it is. But we'll have to see on that. And then another question about Libya, but he said he wasn't answering any questions. It was all about Venezuela, but even though he did answer on Brexit. But anyway, then another question technical staff, what was he in that? And he answered that there was like electricians and faculty sort of employees, and a question about money transfers being done between Venezuela and Russia, but he didn't answer that. And then he went on to quote a phrase where he said, "A friend in need is a friend indeed." And he had a look of him to say, a friend that needs your help is a friend that you can manipulate, and which is not exactly the meaning of the phrase. A friend who helps you when you're in need is a friend indeed. And it got shortened to, a friend in need is a friend indeed. But it's a friend who helps you when you're in need and doesn't want any oil or any gold or any other financial reward. That is a friend. But I think I just go to show the Russian mentality. And yeah, he went on to do like a best men speech, a best mate speech, should I say, or a best man speech. He went on to say Venezuela is needing help from everyone, but don't help if you're gonna interfere, and no military action from surrounding countries, because there's been a bit of a inkling that surrounding countries are going to be taking military action if Venezuela's getting too much people exodusting from their country. And he went on to say they're ready to resolve, or ready to work with anything to resolve the issue, apart from if you're going to go meddling in Venezuela. Basically, like saying, you can help me, but don't give me any advice to help me, just give me money. And is that going to work? I don't know. But this is what happens when you let social justice into your country. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, let me see if this reminds you of what I'm talking about.
Chavez strode the world, inspiration to all of us, fighting back against austerity and neoliberal economics in Europe, showed us there is a different and a better way of doing things. It's called socialism, it's called social justice, and it's something that Venezuela has made a big step towards.
Yeah. If you remember that, Jeremy Corbyn social justice speech, and now look at Venezuela, and that's what's gonna happen if you let social justice dictators into your country. Well, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna try and do updates on it and that. Gonna keep well informed on this to see if Maduro's dictatorship reigns over the Venezuelan people, or if Juan Guaido can get the freedom and democracy back to the Venezuelan people. Thanks for watching, and I hope to do a few more on Venezuela. So I'll say goodbye and hope to see you next time.